Hi friends, thanks for joining me while my teacher tab is loading. In this video we're going to go over the very basics of a Google Form escape room. First step is to go ahead and go to forms.new. That will open up a new untitled Google form for you, and then we can get started. Change the title of your form by either clicking in this title box or in the typical top left corner where it says Untitled Form. I'm naming this one Morning Rush Escape Room Form simply because this example that I'll be showing is about a student sleeping through their alarm and almost missing their bus. So the first thing I'm doing is adding a little description in at the top. This sets the scene for your escape room. For escape rooms, I would say this is a pretty important step to make sure that it all makes sense and flows well. Our next step is to go over to the right side and click on this little equal sign, which adds a new section. This is where we actually get started. I'm going to title this The Bedroom because that's where we'll start. Once you have that section titled, you can go ahead and add a question with the little plus button. Google Form defaults to multiple choice questions, and that's just fine for what we're doing. So my first question here is basically, what is your first move? And then I will type some multiple choice answers. For this example, it will be a very simple, silly example. Basically what you want is to get out of bed and get dressed. So any options that are not that, in the end, will not get you to the next step. So once you've had a few answer choices typed in there, at the bottom, please make sure that your question is required because you don't want students to skip this step, and then click on the three dots on the right-hand side. You're going to want to click Go to Section based on answer, and then for each answer choice that a student will choose, you can determine which section of the form they will go to next. So if it is the correct answer, you probably want them to move on to the next section. So let's pause, create that next section with that equal sign again. My next section is the bathroom. So then I will go back up to my question, click on the right answer, that will take me to the bathroom. And if it's the wrong answer, you're going to want to create another section with some sort of error message. In this scenario, our oopsies will be, you've missed the bus. So for this example, I am just going to have one error message, but just like you can create a different section for your student to move on to, you can also create a custom section for them to run into an error. So if you want to have very specific error messages that relate back to your original question, you may absolutely do that. In my error message, I want there to be some sort of loop to take them back to the question. Now, in this example, I am going to have them start over from the beginning, and you will see that in just a second, but you can have them go back to a certain question. And like I said, if you have very specific error messages, this will take them back to that particular question. So here I'm just asking students if they want to try again, and the only option that I'm giving them right now is, yes, let's try again. And then after you have that one option in, you'll go back down to that three little dots, click Go to Section based on answer, and then choose where you want them to start from. So now that we have that all set up, we can go back to our next section, which for me would be the bathroom. So your student has successfully chosen the right answer that when they get out of bed, they should get dressed, and that will take them to the bathroom. I'm going to ask them, how long do you brush your teeth for? And then I will give them three options with numbers. To keep this simple, I'm just going with 1, 2, and 3, and then you will come back down to this three little dots, go to section based on answer, and the wrong answers will take you to you've missed the bus, and the correct answer will take you to the next section. Now, I don't have this next section created yet, so I'm going to hop down real quick and make the kitchen. Then, once I have the kitchen all set up, I will go back to my previous question in the bathroom, choose where the correct answer will take them, which is into the kitchen. Once in the kitchen, I'm going to ask them to pack their lunch, with a reminder to make healthy choices. Now, my answer choices here will be mostly healthy options, an apple, banana, grapes, but then I'm going to throw candy in there. In this question, the only way that they could go and miss the bus is if they choose candy. All other options here will get them to the correct answer, which this is our final stop here for me, so I'm going to take them right to the bus stop. So you can see that these 3 correct options will take you to the bus stop, and the 1 wrong option will take you back to you missed the bus. Now I can hop down to the bus stop, which is my final section, and I'm going to make them answer one final question. So you made it to the bus stop. Did your bus pull up yet? Now, this is just for fun. You don't have to include a last question like this, but my first option here is going to be, yes, it drove off without me. I missed it. The second option is going to be, no, I made it. I see the bus around the corner down the street. And that one is what will submit the form for them and give them the congratulations message. Yes, I missed it will take them all the way back to the beginning. So let's go write that congratulations message right now. Go up to settings. I'm not going to read through all of this, but it should all look like this. Make sure that they're not collecting email addresses, there's no response editing, and don't limit it to one response because that means I have to sign in. Below that, in the presentation, you are going to click Edit and start typing a successful congratulations message. And that has completed the very basic of the Google Form escape room, but we're going to go back and add some pictures just for fun. So I'm going to go back in here, into my question, click on the image, do a quick Google search, and just add it in, and then I'm going to shrink it down to size. I'm going to repeat that for each question, just to add a goofy little image along with each one. So now let's test our form out. Go up to this preview eyeball, and then start answering the questions. I'm going to get some wrong just to prove that this works, and my loop does take me back to the beginning, but that's just where I was coming from anyway. So let's start over. Some more wrong questions take me back to the beginning, and some right questions keep me moving through the form. This one was wrong, so I'm going to go back. It kept my right answer. I'm going to change this one to the right answer. I'm going to get this one right, and I'm going to click yes, I missed my bus, just to see that it does take me all the way back again, which it does. So now I'm just going to click through. All my right answers are saved, and I'm going to click that I did not miss the bus yet. Because I'm not published in preview mode, it will not let me see my congratulatory message, but if you were to open a new tab and try it out, it would definitely work. Alright friends, teacher tab closed. Thanks for watching. Until next time.